today is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 and Williams Treaties. At this time, we would also like to recognize the support, the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, and the Truth and Reconciliation Calls to Action. And we invite everyone to take a moment to reflect on how we can all continue to support the process of reconciliation. Thank you. I'm going to take a few minutes to walk you through what you can expect today, but very quickly, if you want to just scan this QR code if you haven't already done so. This will give you access, or this will put your name into a draw for later on today. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that we will be playing a game at the end of the day today based on what you're going to be learning throughout the day. So make sure you're paying attention, and you may get a chance to win a prize at the end of the day as well. So am I good to move on to the next? Oh, no, I have a few people. It'll be up throughout the day, so you can grab that QR code throughout the day. And we won't do the draw until I think 3 o'clock, I think, today. Okay, so thank you so much for coming today. I think it's really important to be part of orientation. You'll learn a lot today about a number of different topics at the college, but we also want you to meet your program coordinator. And how many of you are in a co-op program? Quite a few. We have a few programs here today that don't have co-op, but placements instead. But you'll meet your co-op advisor today, so they'll give you all kinds of information about what you can do to be successful, get a job, co-op job, get lots of great experience so that you can start your career when you graduate here, the career that you've chosen. Okay, so this is what you can expect today. We've got some general sessions on student services and advising, Canadian culture, student wellness, and academic integrity and student success. So you'll be hearing from a number of staff at the college on these topics. And then you'll also, as I mentioned, get an opportunity to meet your co-op advisor if you're in a co-op program. You will also meet your program advisor or a faculty member who represents your program. They'll walk you through your program map. They'll tell you all about the courses and some strategies for success in your program. I mentioned the game at the end of the day. We're going to do a Kahoot game. We'll also have a raffle here. And also, when you get an opportunity, check out the second floor study space. So I'm sure you're all very new to the campus, but on the second floor here, you'll see a number of booths set up with clubs. I encourage you to get very involved in the college and very involved in the volunteer opportunities that are available to you. This is great for you to give to the community, but also it's a great opportunity for you to add to your resume. If you do volunteer work, if you join one of the academic clubs, you'll find out also about trips and activities that are planned for you this semester and in the fall before you go on your academic break. So lots of good things on the second floor. You can see the windows there. That's the study space. You'll be using those eventually once you start getting into your academic studies. Right now, this is fun, right? Because you have nothing due next week. It's fun. But eventually, you're going to be using all of those study spaces. They get very, very busy. We have quite a few people that are going to be on campus this summer. And the more people on campus, the better, right? It brings energy to the campus. On Thursday, I just want to remind you all that we have some sessions planned on Thursday and Friday. How many of you will be looking for a part-time job? Awesome. So we do have a fair planned. It's a brand new segment for our orientation week. We have a fair planned for the afternoon on Thursday. There will be people in the atrium. We'll set the atrium up a little bit differently. There will be people in the atrium with information about how to search for a job locally, part-time job. There will also be volunteer, so the academic clubs set up in the atrium, so you'll find out about some volunteer opportunities. We also have some sessions planned for the morning. So anyone who's doing research in their program, I recommend that you attend the APA Research and Documentation Standards session. That's here. Housing and accommodation and keeping students safe. This will be presented by North York Community House, and they will be here on Thursday. And then student portals. So you'll learn about, you've probably all been to Moodle. Thank goodness, because I think that's how you got a lot of the information for today. But you'll learn about Moodle, you'll learn about Web Advisor, the database, all the stuff that all the technology that you need to know, and the portals that you need to know in order to get things done on time and stay on top of the documentation of being a student. And then on Friday, we have some general sessions on part-time jobs again. So that'll be, those are more structured, that's a more structured session. And then campus safety, and that'll be our OHST. Anyone from OHST here? I think today is the OHST day. So you'll meet your program advisor later today, but you'll also meet him on Friday if you join us. He's doing a session on safety on campus. And then you all have access to GuardMe insurance. And so our insurance provider will be on campus on Friday to give you information about insurance, your GuardMe insurance policy. We will also have a speaker on Friday, a local police officer. He comes to our orientation every semester. There will be someone on campus talking about banking and security here in Canada, because you're going to be living here for at least the next 2 years, and you're going to want to follow his advice, or follow her advice, actually. There will be a panel later on in the day on Friday on student life, so you'll be learning about student council, you'll be learning about the clubs, you'll be learning about sports. We do have a couple sports teams. We typically do intramural or intra-campus competitions, so we play soccer, I think, against the campus at the Mississauga and the Sarnia campus. And also, I think we have table tennis and badminton planned for this summer. So you'll find a little bit out about that on Friday. And then we also are providing food truck on Friday. So we also have some extra food coming on Thursday. So a couple days where you'll have food provided. We do have snacks for you today, but you probably received an email from me last week indicating that it would be best to bring your lunch, or there's a number of different places that you can grab lunch in around the campus. But like I said, we'll have more food on Thursday and Friday. And then we're doing a scavenger hunt on Friday in teams of 3. So I recommend that you find people in your program, or even outside of your program, that you can pair, or that you can group with in groups of 3. And there are prizes for the scavenger hunt too. It's a great way for you to get to learn the campus. You'll be going around and collecting clues and finding things on campus that you wouldn't otherwise know about. I did mention bringing your lunch. We do have lunch rooms. That's one thing that you will learn about on Friday in the scavenger hunt. There are lunch rooms throughout campus, so you can pull up a seat and grab lunch here. Or, I mean, the weather's not great today, but you may, there's food within walking distance of this campus. So the sessions today, or the format today, is choose your own adventure. A lot of the sessions are offered more than once. And at the beginning, we're going to have a session here and a session in the Will Room. And those are like general sessions. But then if you are in one of the programs that was specifically invited today, then you might have a program info session at the 9:15 slot, or the co-op, meet your co-op advisor at that 9:15 slot. So take a look at the pink sheet. That's the schedule for today. And for those of you joining us from home, I know we've live streamed some of the sessions today. So anything that is offered in the atrium will be live streamed, and anything that's offered in the classrooms today will be live streamed. So make sure you grab those links if you're joining us from home. Grab the links to the classrooms from the schedule that was posted on Moodle. This is what your schedule looks like today. So the first thing you're going to do is, I imagine every one of the students that are here today were invited for this day. So this is the day that your program info session is offered. So if you're in AIMT, AHCT, DOCT, FSIT, LAQT, OHST, or SCMT, then you might have a session at 9:15 that you must go to. It's a mandatory session. And let's just take a look at LAQT, OHST, and AIMT. Those sessions will start at 9:15 in the classrooms down the hall here. If you look at your schedule, you do have a map on the back, so you can find the classes that we're going to be running sessions in today. If you are in any of the other programs, then you have choice at the beginning of the day. You can either stay here for student services and advising. Tenny's going to be presenting. Where's Tenny? Oh, Tenny, can you wave? Give us a wave. There's Tenny at the back. Or you can join me up in the Will Room, and I'll be presenting Canadian culture and transportation, local transportation. So TTC, and some of you probably took the TTC to get here today, so you may be pros on that already. So let's take an example. Mark is an OHST student. I had a few OHST students at the outset. Put your hands up again, OHST. Yep. So all of the OHST students will be going to meet Brian in room 127. So that room is just down the hall here. And you'll be meeting Brian for that 9:15 session. And then after that, you have choice. You can either go to Canadian Culture, which will be in the atrium, presented by Mark, or Student Services and Advising in 218, which is this room right here. That'll be presented by Tenny. And then you'll be back here in the atrium to meet Michael Varakis. He's the director of the college, and he's going to give you some words of wisdom about how to be successful here in your studies here in Canada. And then we have a lunch break. So like I said, you can take lunch on your own. Hopefully you brought lunch, but there are restaurants nearby. I listed them in the email that I sent on Friday. And then after the break, we will be in the atrium, again, either in the atrium or the Will Room, 218. And if Mark attended the Canadian Culture and Transportation session at 10:30, actually, no, these are two new sessions. So you'll be attending either academic integrity or student wellness right after the lunch break, because those are optional. They're not really optional. They're offered more than once. So you can choose when you do those sessions. Then after the break, Mark will do either academic integrity and student success or student wellness and immigration support, depending on what he did before the break. He'll join Tenny for student services and advising at the end of the day because he did Canadian Culture and Transportation at 10:30. And then look at this. He's got a program info session at 4 o'clock with Sandeep. Don't forget, though, we have the Kahoot here in the atrium, and we'll do the raffle draw before we get into those last few sessions at 4 o'clock. As I mentioned, we have booths set up in the study space, so if you are interested in getting involved in sport or joining one of our academic clubs, make sure that you do your best to make your way over to that area upstairs. The snacks that will be provided around the break time and around lunchtime will also be upstairs right at my 11 o'clock. So right where the study spaces are, over in that corner, there's a student lounge, and we'll be providing some snacks there. And I think that's it for me. Does anyone have any questions before we disperse? No questions? No? So how many of you have a classroom to go to now? How many of you are either in the atrium or the or 218? Okay, so a smaller group who do not have sessions in the classrooms. I would ask that if this room is a little bit full, if you want to make your way to 218 and join me for Canadian Culture and Transportation, I'd appreciate it, because otherwise we might be really full here later in the afternoon. But you have a little bit of a break. Actually, I did well on time, which is very surprising for me. So you've got 13 minutes to make your way to one of the classrooms, Or hang tight. Those of you on the stairs, if you're not going to a classroom, if you want to just come a little bit closer to the front so that Tenny doesn't feel lonely up here. And I guess Julianne is joining us as well for that session. And if you want, feel free to join me up in room 218. Thanks again for joining us this morning, and I hope you have an awesome day.
Testing microphone. Hello, hello. Can you hear me okay? This is my voice. It sounds funny, but yeah, that's it. Just curious. Okay, so those of you who have a birthday in the first 4 months of the year, so we're talking about January, February, March, April, raise your hand. All right, we have a nice group of folks in there. Okay, so you all, congratulations. You're going to head out to the Canadian Culture section in the room 218, okay? So the 4 months, January, February, March, April, the room 218 upstairs, the Canadian Culture session is happening at 9, actually right now. It's going to start like right now. So those of you in the first 4 months, if you could just make your way upstairs to room 218, the ambassadors will be able to guide you there if you're a bit lost. So it's just this room right here. There's a big, see all that glass over there? That's the room that you'll be going to, okay? So once you have that session, you can come back here for the atrium for the second session after that, all right? Okay, so the first 4 months, January, February, March, April. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate it. All right. Okie dokie. All right. Okay, and for everyone else that's here, we have our presenter ready to go. It's not me, I promise. I'm a bit later. But right now, you're going to be hearing about student services. So our wonderful presenter, Tenny, is right here. She's ready to go. And if, well, without further ado, Tenny, come on down and present about student services. Yay. Here you go.
Hello. Thank you so much for choosing my presentation over the other one, because it's going to be more fun, okay? I promise you. So you've won already by being here. So this whole day, you're going to get a lot thrown at you. No. Oh, sorry. Got too excited. Thank you. You're going to get a lot of presentations, a lot of information thrown at you. But that's okay. We're not expecting you to remember everything. But just by being here and via absorption and osmosis, you're going to get some of it into your brains. And when you are stuck in a situation, in a problem, you never know. That piece of information will just go on in your brain like a light bulb, and you'll be like, oh, thank God I went to student services presentation. Now I know more than everyone else. So, my name is Tenny. I am one of the student services advisors. However, we have 2 student services advisors. So I have Juliana over here, who is the second student services advisor. So if you guys ever come to see us in person, it'll be either me or Juliana that you'll be seeing. Sorry, got a little clicker situation here. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about how to contact us, and what do we actually help with. Prior to getting my job as a student services advisor, I actually had no clue what a student services advisor does. But we are important, and I'll tell you why, okay? What is student services to begin with? Think of us as like a help desk, like an information hub, right? So there's so many different departments in the college, so many different areas that come together to make the college work. But it's a lot for you guys to try to remember, you know, who do you go to when you need help with a specific type of situation, right? So if you don't know where to go, you come to us. We'll either be able to help you directly. If we don't, we'll tell you where to go. Who do you contact? Who do you email? Who's the right person for the specific problem that you're going through? How do you contact us? Well, the most popular way is, of course, email, because we're all busy. So if you want to email us, you're going to email studentservices@cestercollege.com. When you send an email to this email, what's going to happen is it's going to go and sit in this ticketing pool, okay? Now, based on what your inquiry is, that ticket or email may get assigned to me, it may get assigned to Juliana, it may be something related more to immigration, it may get assigned to the immigration advisor. So sometimes people come and knock down my door and they go, I send you an email. Me? what email? What is it about? Well, yeah, I send it to student services. Just because it gets sent to student services doesn't mean I'm the one answering it. However, it could be me answering it. So when you send an email to student services, you are reaching out to more than one advisor, okay? Now you get lucky, that email gets assigned to me, great. I know exactly what you're talking about. I pull out your information and I can help you in person with whatever you emailed about. If it's another advisor, that's okay, still come to me. I can help maybe digest the information that you got emailed about. I'm more than happy to do that, okay? Please create one ticket or email per issue. Why do I say this? Because so many times people think, I'm being efficient. I'm going to send 3 emails about the same issue just to make sure that the person gets the email. Okay, great. But are you being efficient? No, you're doing exactly the opposite of what you meant to do. So if you send an email, I read this email, I action what you want me to action, and then you send another email. Let's say Juliana gets this email. Juliana assumes, I've never read this email, I've never actioned this email, because it's a different email, right? And guess what? She reverses what I actioned. So what happens now? Your request never happened. We never did what you wanted us to do. So it is very important to always just send one email per issue. What are some other ways of you guys getting in touch with us? So if you want to see us in person, you come to this building. You go to the front desk. Everyone knows where the front desk is by the reception? Yeah? Yes? No? So you go to the front desk. There's an iPad there, right across from the reception desk. This iPad has a system, an application that's called QList. On this QList, you sign up with your phone number, student ID, name. As soon as you do have a seat in that area, we have couches. And in about 5 to 10 minutes, you'll get a notification on your phone that says the advisor is ready to see you. So I'll come out, I'll get you, and I'll take you to my office, or Juliana. So that's how you see us in person. I would say if you guys want to ask a simple question that you know doesn't need a lot of explanation, just a straight answer, and you don't want to discuss it, of course, send us an email, right? But if it's something where you need more explanation, more detail, it's not something you can put in an email easily, we highly encourage you to come see us in person. We are in the college from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, so it's not very difficult to come see us. If it's not busy, I promise you someone will call you in 5 to 10 minutes. So again, it is preferred you come see us, but we know you're busy, you have 100 things going on, so of course, if it's a simple question, why not just send us an email, right? Just want to differentiate between the 2 ways of getting in touch with us. And of course, you can call us too. You're going to call the college at the number above, and you're going to say, can I talk to a student services advisor? Now, for those of you that like to help yourself, and you're kind of, a go-getter like that, you want to just search up information yourself, a lot of the things that we talk about today are also available on Moodle. Has anyone logged on to Moodle just by show of hands? Do you know what Moodle is? Anyone who's logged in? No? Okay, well, it's some people, yeah, good. So we'll talk about what Moodle is on the Thursday presentation with student portals. It's just one of the platforms that the college uses to introduce your courses, and you access your course material through Moodle. On Moodle, there is an option at the top in the home page, at the top menu. It's called Student Services. When you click on that and you scroll down, you're going to see a lot of material that I'm talking about today also available there. So a lot of phone numbers, email addresses, information. So of course, if you're pressed for time and you don't want to wait for a reply to our emails or come see us, there's some of this you can help yourselves by going on Moodle. Okay, so what do we actually help with? These are areas that we directly help with, okay? So it's just a menu. Of course, I'm going to go into each in more detail. We have academic support, registration and finance, program progression, personal advising. Not a lot of people know that we actually do that, and student account updates. All right, first one, academic support. What does this mean? This does not mean that I have a magic wand that I can take out of my pocket and I can give you the grades you want, make your instructor allow you to miss class. I wish. If I had those magical powers, I really would use them, but I don't. So when I say academic support, if you have issues with your courses, your grades, your instructors, anything that you can think of having to do with your courses, you come to me. I will help you through the process for dealing with it. So my job is to introduce you. What is the policy? What is the process that the college has in place to deal with, let's say, when you're not happy with your grades, when you feel you were insulted by your instructor, when you feel like there was a miscalculation in your grades, maybe you think one of the courses that showed up on your schedule is not the right course. Anything to do with course material, you come to see me. If it's something to do with grades, we're going to talk about it. I'm probably going to refer you back to your instructor. However, again, I will introduce you to the policy of how do you deal with a grade disagreement, okay? So no, I can't fix your grades, but I can help you with it. Okay, so when I say policies, the school has a lot of policies on various things, okay? So policies, of course, very wordy, a lot of documents. On almost everything we have a policy, okay? So I do think it's good to look at them, but if they're confusing to you, if you're ever looking at the policy page on the Lambton College website and you think, I don't understand a lot of this, that's okay. This is why we're here. So come to us. We will try to break it down for you. We'll try to simplify it for you. But I do want to introduce you to two of the policies that at Student Services we get asked about a lot, and that is missed tests and classes and student complaints. Okay, so where do you actually find the policies? Like I said, it's you know, there's a lot of wording in there, so you don't have to read it, but I want you to know where to find it because it's important, right? If I tell you missed class policy and you're like, okay, what is she talking about? Where is this policy? Well, this is where you find it, right? You can scan the QR code. It's going to take you to the Lambton College in Toronto website. And at the top there, you have a menu. You can click on student policies, and it's going to give you a menu of all of the policies that the college has. So, sorry. So I guess we're not doing missed classes. First, we're going to do complaints, okay? So let's say you're in the classroom, you have an altercation with your instructor, you think the instructor's being unreasonable, they're being rude, they've made comments that you feel like is insulting. Okay, you try to solve it on your own. You try to deal with it. It's not working out for you. You're going to come see us, okay? What are we going to tell you? We're going to say, okay, have you talked to your instructor about it? Why do we say that? We don't want to put you in an uncomfortable place, but the person that you say has offended you has the right to know that this is what they've done, right? You want to be fair and let them know that, you know what, your words have hurt me. I don't feel comfortable for whatever went on between us. So we are going to ask you, as hard as it is, to have that conversation with your instructor to make sure that they understand what they've done is offensive. Okay? Next, if you can solve the issue by just telling your instructor and your instructor goes, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. I'm going to try to do better moving forward. Great. If you don't solve the issue by having that meeting and having that conversation, and please try to have this conversation outside of class time, right? Then you come to us, okay? We are going to want you to put everything down on paper, right? Now, that could be email, that could be a form, anything that helps me understand the details of what you're talking about. So you're going to put on paper what was the incident, what were the words that was used that you felt offended by, what is the resolution you're hoping to get out of bringing this up, right? And why do we want that on paper? Because it's important to have it documented, right? When you're having documented, there's no details that go missing in conversation, nothing that's being misunderstood, right? Because you had a chance to write it down on paper. So there's less chance for misunderstandings to happen, right? And then what we do is we will forward that complaint to the college management. They may meet with the instructor, may try to, ask them questions about the incident. They may want to meet with you, just find out in more detail. So I do want you to know that there's no downside in bringing up a complaint that you have against an instructor, right? You do have to be fair, right? You're not going to complain because the instructor's been strict. Well, some are, that's just how the world works. But if they've said something that you consider, for example, racist, offensive, rude, if they've raised their voice, then yeah, that's something you want to complain about, right? We have in this college zero backlash for bringing up complaints. So if you bring up complaints and the instructor decides to give you a lower grade, guess what? Never happens. We have policies in place to prevent that, right? So if the instructor tries to, by any, mean, take revenge, you come to me, we'll deal with it. So don't be scared for bringing up complaints, for speaking up, okay? Again, so you're going to email your instructor, ask them to meet with you, discuss the issue. If you don't get anywhere, within 5 days of having that meeting, come to Student Services. We will walk you through the next steps, okay? Student rights and responsibilities. I wanted to also say this policy because it is kind of connected to the complaints policy. There is a policy in that menu that I talked to you guys about. It's called Student Rights and Responsibilities. I want you guys to read it. I know every other policy might be like, oh, boring, so many words. I do want you to read this. Why do I want that? Because I want you to understand how are people in the college supposed to treat you? How are you supposed to treat them, right? So how do you know if someone's being unfair to you? Or someone's being offensive, besides the obvious, how do you know if someone's treatment of you is according to college policies and rules or not? This is where you find that out. You read the policy, and it shows you how is your instructor supposed to treat you, how are your classmates supposed to treat you, how am I supposed to treat you, right? And vice versa. So it's very important to take a look at that. In that policy, you'll find a lot of material regarding harassment and bullying, right? So it's good to know what are the consequences if you have someone, harassing you, and or if you're involved in any way in that process, right? I want you to know that that's not okay. And also, it's not okay for you to do this to someone else, okay? That brings me to stereotyping and racism, right? So a lot of times, like I said, we say things we don't think it through before it comes out our mouths. It happens to the best of us, but we should try to be better, okay? So how do we try to be better? I'm gonna explain this using an example, okay? Canadians love cold weather. Is that true? I'm Canadian. I hate cold weather. But of course, when you see me and I tell you I'm Canadian, you don't know me, right? You don't know my likes, my dislikes, my personality. It's scary when you first meet someone and you know nothing about them outside of their appearance, right? What on the outside they look like, or what their nationality is, or what their culture is. So it's a very natural and human thing for your brain to go, oh my gosh, I know nothing about this person other than they're Canadian. Okay, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. Whew, what do I say to this person? And the first thing you say is, oh wow, you must really like cold weather. You're Canadian, right? I mean, I'm not really gonna get offended, but I guess the idea I'm trying to convey here is these thoughts are very natural, to use them to try to have conversations with people, but try to think twice before it leaves your mouth, right? Because a lot of these stereotypes that we have, they're from, media, they're from, friends and family and people that aren't the person you're interacting with, right? So it's not okay to say it. If you say something like this, the person might get offended, right? If you try to express a thought that might be a stereotype, something you learned about that culture from media, they might get offended because they might say, well, that's not really me. No, it's not fair. Try to get to know the person by interacting with them, right? So it's the best way to try to understand who that person is on their own, not what their culture says they are, right? So in that way you can avoid, treating someone different because they're from a different culture, okay? And try to remember, guys, you are all here because you have a common goal, right? You're all international students. You're all going to go through the same struggles. I know we're all from different countries, but ultimately we have something in common, which is we're immigrants trying to make it in a new country. So as much as the tendency is to, only be friends with people of your culture and it's us versus them, try to rise above that, because you never know, your best friend could be sitting right here, your future best friend, and they are from a completely different culture than you. So the point is to keep an open mind, try to get to know the person without these previous judgments affecting what you think about them, okay? Again, it's a very human thing, we all do it, but think twice before you express that thought, okay? Okay, miss class policy. We get asked this all the time. How many classes is it okay for us to miss? Okay, short answer, 0. You're not supposed to miss any classes. Now, is that reasonable? No. Life happens, you get sick, you get into an accident, God forbid, on your way to school. So we know these things, but it is a sad truth that a lot of people do lie. They say, I got sick 5 times in a month. So how do you prevent the instructor thinking you're being untruthful when you say you're sick or when you say you have an accident, okay? So the policy of the college says, if you miss more than 2 days of a course, you may fail that course, okay? May, keyword here. You may not, right? Try to remember that each instructor you have will have a different grading structure, will have a different personality. Some are more strict than others. If you get sick, even if it's just a cold, try to go to a doctor and get a medical note, okay? I know you may feel like I don't want to go for just a cold, like, oh, I'm in bed, I'm coughing, I'm sneezing, like, I don't want to leave my bed. I know it's very difficult, but should the instructor want you to provide that note and you don't have it, guess what? They may not think that you're being honest. By the time you come to class, you're going to feel well, right? You can't take a picture of yourself when you're sick. I mean, that's not any proof, right? So you want to do your homework, go to the doctor, get your note. Again, I'm not saying the instructor is going to ask for a note. Sometimes they know you. They know you're a good student. You come to class. So the one time you miss class and you say you're sick, chances are the instructor is going to believe you. But I can't guarantee that, right? Every instructor is different. So, cover your bases, get the doctor's note. If you're going to have a family emergency, let's say you are telling your instructor, my grandmother passed away. Okay. Be prepared, they're going to want a death certificate, okay? Now, what happens when you miss more than 2 days of a course? Let's say you need 2 weeks off, okay? That's when your instructor is not the right person anymore to go to, okay? You have to get permission from the director, okay? Again, come to us. We'll explain to you what you need to do, what kind of evidence you need to gather, but you're going to have to speak with the director either via email or in-person meeting, and you're gonna need to provide documents. If you're saying, I need to go back home, I need to get a surgery done, okay. Again, be prepared. He's going to want a doctor in Canada to say on paper, why do you need to go back home to get the surgery done? Why can't you do it here? Right? So a doctor needs to write on paper, and